Hi, I'm Peter Brusso for 101 Small Business Mastermind, and look who we got with us again, Dick Bentley. Say good morning, Dick.
Good morning, Dick.
And say good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Frank.
Now, Dick has moved back east, and by the way, this is our 99th podcast. Next week is our 100th, so hopefully, Dick, you'll join us for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. So Dick and I are going to take the A block together. It's all about business, and then we're going to watch Frank's presentation of why people make millions and you don't. Pretty snappy name, actually. I like that name a lot. So, okay, I heard, I've been out last week with the computer repair store guys, and one of them is so busy, he doesn't even return telephone calls, and he doesn't answer his phone. Can you imagine having a business that you're so busy you don't do that? Just common courtesy? I mean, is that crazy, guys, or what?
Oh, that's awful.
And then I said, hey, well, funnel the overflow down to the other store. No, he won't do that because he doesn't like the guy that has the other store. So it's like, but the owner ought to just make these commandments and people ought to do it. It just doesn't make any sense to me what people do with their businesses sometimes, And on the flip side of that, Hootsuite, which I've used for years, I post to 4 different places using Hootsuite, and now they can't post to Facebook. And I think that's going to be more of a trend. I think their business is in trouble. The model may be in trouble if you can't be posting to these places. And so I said, hey, I wonder if I should even keep Hootsuite. So I contacted them to please contact me and talk to me about why I should keep Hootsuite, because now I can only put it in 3 places that I usually do. And their contact form says they'll get back with you within 2 business days. Okay? This was last Thursday, 1 week ago, and I'm still waiting for a telephone call. Can you believe that, Dick?
No. Well, yeah, I can. I shouldn't be able to believe it, but that's the world we live in today. People just don't have the common courtesy to call back.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so a little business update from me. I wanted to really push my Defender site out. And so over the last month, I put up 25 new products, 30 new videos. I mean, I've been a crazo doing all this stuff. And why did I do that? Well, one of the things is, to buy one of these is $14.95. I wanted to up my ticket. I wanted to get, a menu that was higher, a single order going higher. And so I created these clips that I put on here, and I've done some friction tape, and I've really pushed, and we got new holsters, Kydex holsters that have been tested. One of the guys that tested the Kydex holster, by the way, did it 500 times. He inserted the tool 500 times and went running with it, swimming with it, everything, trying to break these things was what I asked him to do, and he couldn't do it. So yesterday, Dick, was the first day I made a full up package that didn't exist before. I made my first sale yesterday.
Well,
and so instead of $14.95 plus shipping, I made $136.16.
Very good.
That's an order of magnitude larger in an order.
There really is. That is. Are you think with the climate that we're living in right now, with so much tension and people just going wacko, that's going to spur your business on?
I don't think so, because I would like it to, by the way, and I thought about it, but I don't think it is, because the only place that I believe that these tools could be of great value are when these protests with the Antifa people and they want to beat you up, and they want to beat up anybody that has voted for Trump or is a Trumpite, and all of that stuff. But the Trump people don't tend to fight back anyway. They're nonviolent, so I don't know, but I'm all ears for that, and I thought about marketing down that line, but then that might be the wrong answer.
Yeah.
They caught Candace and the guy,
saw that.
Yelling at him and threw water on him. They're just having coffee in Philadelphia. Yeah. I mean, they're Nazis. They truly are fascists, and these Antifa are against fascists, but they're using fascist tactics. It's crazy.
Yep.
I heard this morning they interviewed Charlie Kirk, who was the other guy,
Right.
and they said that the interviewer said, "Why didn't you push them away? You probably can't hit them, but push them away." And he said, "Because then I would fall into their trap. They want to be martyrs, and then they want to sue me for assault." And he said, "I'm not going to press charges." He said, and these people, according to Charlie, they're paid $20 an hour to do this.
Oh, is that a fact?
It's a paid mob, yeah. And now the rumor, and it's strictly a rumor, is that it's all being sponsored by George Soros.
I was going to say Soros has got to be behind that one.
Yeah, so because they were able to get 50 people within 10 minutes who showed up at whatever time in the morning because of breakfast, and they were getting paid $20 an hour. And I think if they're arrested, they get a bonus. So.
Wow. Yeah, and it probably wouldn't be a good visual if Charlie took out a defender and sliced some guy's head open. So
yeah, they poke and drag.
But I thought about that when I was watching the video. I said, and I remember because I watch your videos, he could have done this, done this, done this.
Oh, I know.
There's so many things he could have done because they were on top of him with a bullhorn in the ear.
Right, right. I would. Anyway. I would have taken the bullhorn out of his hand with a simple poke and drag.
Right.
And you lose it. That's it. But and I don't know. And of course, Dick, you don't know it, but I'm walking almost every day out here in the desert, and I troll to get mugged every day. And please come and try this out. Because I used to do that all around the world. I troll to get mugged wherever I went, and I would get mugged. By golly, I met the bad guys more than once out there. And so
what happens to a bad guy when they approach you?
Well, there's a video which I'll link over the 4 laws.
By the way, that was a lead into your tagline.
Okay, yeah. Well, they get the bad day. My tagline is when the bad guys come a calling, you give them the bad day.
I love that line
with a defender. But yeah, the 4 laws of violent attack. And I just got a video up for that. But at each stage, you learn what stage you're in, heading for physical attack, and you can get out of it at each one of these stages by doing a particular thing, so you can stop it. And so I go out, because I teach that, I go out and try it. So yeah. Anyway, but so these videos, and people like to watch videos, and this is all about a business show. I think videos are really, really important for your business. Always have, that. So, okay, that's my 2 cents worth on, hey, if a client calls you, for God's sakes, call them back in a timely fashion. What the heck are these businesses thinking of? So, Dick, you're back there on the East Coast, and you have been doing business out here for a whole bunch of years. What's the difference?
Well, I lived in Connecticut for the first 47 years of my life, and then I ended up moving to California, and I snowbirded it, and then I was full-time California again. And all during that time, I used to come back for the summer or whatever. I didn't have my home-based business then and all, so I really wasn't doing a lot. Since I've been back, I've been juggling, trying to, get my Legal Shield business off the ground in Connecticut and finding a place to live. So, we got out of my daughter's here. We're presently staying with my daughter, and, I'm sure she'd be, as much as she loves me, will be happy when I leave. But the thing I find, the thing that I've noticed is the difference in the people. Okay, the people, it takes me back to my roots, and I've come to realize it. The people in Connecticut, and I think in New England in general, don't open up very quickly to strangers. Okay, I was at a meetup this morning for the first time, and there were 15 people there. I didn't know any of them. And at most everyone I've gone to, there's been some repeats now where I've met some people, but I've been a complete stranger to them. And one person said, well, how is it? Do you feel funny going in not know anybody? And I said, actually, no. When I was in California, I'd walk in through them, and I know 75% of the people there. And the downside is they knew me and they knew what I was, what my business was. Here, I'm getting the opportunity to make a first impression on everybody I meet because they don't know me from Adam. The problem is, and I'll speak for Connecticut, but I think it's New Englanders in general. They don't welcome you with open arms. They don't say, "Oh, great, you're here." I'm going to have to keep going back and back and back at these same people and meeting them again and getting them to see that I'm not, just rifle shooting, coming in, boom, and leaving and not coming back. I've committed and the whole thing. So that to me has been the biggest difference in initially. Okay. Now, as I've gotten involved, I'm trying to pretty much duplicate the strategy I did out in the desert, and it was a reasonably successful strategy. It could have been better, but I did fairly well. Of getting getting involved in meetup groups. I've joined what they call a Shoreline Chamber of Commerce. I've become an ambassador, and I was at a thing with the governors are. They're electing a governor this year, and there's a primaries going on, and they've come and spoke to the chamber and all. So I just did that. So I'm trying to just get out and meet people, get my name around, and let people know I'm here and all. The realization I've come to, and I really thought about it again, driving back to the podcast here, is it's going to take a lot longer here than it did in California. Mm. Now the difference is, other than guys like you and Frank and a few other people in California, all these people that are so your friends and they do this, they really aren't, because other than you and a few other people, since I got back, I haven't heard from anyone that was supposed to be my best friend in California. Here, once I crack the facade, these people will accept me, and I think they'll be more willing to help me grow my business and be part of it. So it's going to take time. So I got to make sure that that strategy is got a chance to succeed, because it's probably going to take me 6 months of going to all these different meetings and all to be accepted. And if I'm wrong, then I've wasted 6 months. So I'm trying to develop a dual strategy of focusing on businesses rather than going to just to the meetups, going in and trying to set up meetings with businesses and go and talk to them about our legal shield plan and also. So it's going to take some time. The other thing is in the desert, I mean, I would trip over other Legal Shield associates. Here, I've yet to find one in this area I am at. I know there's a bunch in Connecticut. So not many people even have heard of Legal Shield. So I'm trying to do my 15-second speeches, just trying to get more educational about them and things of that nature. So the realization that I've come to from a business point of view is I have to pay my dues back here all over again, even though for 47 years I lived in this state and, I did business in this state and I knew a lot of people. Well, when you're gone for 20 plus years, all of a sudden you're not the same guy. And so I'm a newcomer. I'm a guy from California.
Oh, geez.
I try to convince them that I was born and raised in Camden, Brantford. But it's going to take time. So that's the biggest difference I'm seeing from a business point of view. So.
And we need to get you a T-shirt. I'm not from California. T-shirt. Frank, you're thinking about something.
Yeah. I'm because Dick, I've done half of what you've done. I lived out there the first 50 years of my life and been out here for 25 years. So I haven't gone back. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that different. I just didn't know that. And and I'm not challenging. I know now it is. I was one of those guys for the first 50 years said, "Oh, you're not from here." Yeah. That's awful. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's just a New England mentality, and like I say, as you know, Frank, because you lived here forever, is once you crack the code and they accept you, then they accept you, and you get much better results and attention. And they say in California there are people that I would talk to every day and you know, they professed to be the best friend in the world. I sent a couple of texts or email going back to responding, Peter. They didn't get back to me. I'm gone. You know, I'm no longer of use to them.
You're like Kevin on Shark Tank. You're dead. You're dead to everybody.
I'm dead to them. You know,
right.
but you know, but they don't even return my call or return my text. You know,
Really?
anything. Yeah, really. Yeah. And it's
Wow.
I find it's so strange, you know. But you know, I've come to that realization. So it's just I remember when I started selling in Connecticut, it took a while to get the relationships going, and it's going to take a while to get them going again. But I want to try to run a parallel strategy of going into businesses and start getting relationships in there also. So let's go, and then. From a personal point of view, driving back here is a combat sport.
Really?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, I almost had 2 accidents just coming down my daughter's street this morning. Taxi just pulled right out in front of me. I jammed my brakes on it. I thought it was bad in California with the senior citizens going
Oops.
through red lights. Or
Yeah.
having to pull up. It's a combat sport. So I'm really getting reacquainted with being a New Englander again. So, but it's great.
Well, they didn't get the name Battling Bostonians by accident, I guess.
No, absolutely not. So, but other than that, you know, I've had a couple of minor successes, and you know, like I said, I went to a meetup this morning. There was like 18 people there. I didn't know any of them. But you know, it was actually one of the better ones I've gone to. They combined a little bit of what you're doing, Frank, in your meetup with the referral part of it too. Okay. So there was kind of business lessons and discussions, and you know, the ladies that you know was talking about different ways to shake a hand, the right way and the wrong way, and it was kind of interesting. So it was good, but I didn't know a soul. And actually, I love that, because that way I have a chance to go in and make an impression.
Does anybody podcast back there? Have you run into anybody podcasting?
No. I've run into a couple of people that say they do websites. I actually did a podcast for a guy that, in fact, I'm meeting him this afternoon. We're thinking of starting our own meetup group. And he has a website that's really not that great, but he's a consultant. But he's also trying to develop a website where it's kind of like an employment service for Match.com, where people, you know, students in college go on and look at it, you know, the qualifications to, you know, getting a job and all. And I did like a 15-minute interview with him, a video interview that's on his site. But other than that, no one's doing podcasts. They don't even talk about it at all. No.
Well, I'll be darned.
Surprising.
But again, maybe I just don't know these people yet. You know, they may be doing it, but I don't know about it. So, but and you know, I've been, you know, like I say, trying to find a place to live, and also trying to, you know,
you've been kind of busy.
Yeah, so it's been, but I think with time and patience, it should work out good. Good.
All right, that's what I've got. Frank, you want to get ready to launch your thing off here?
Yeah, let's get going.
All right, we are now in a speaker mode, so we're all about it. Dick, you may want to mute your mic. I'm going to mute mine during his video here. Let's learn why they make millions and we don't, Frank.
Why they make millions and you don't. In this video, we are going to discuss why Katelyn Gleason, a non-technical person, makes millions in the technology business.
Before we discuss Katelyn's aha moment, there is something you should know. Most people think that aha moments occur on the spur of the moment, or something similar to like getting struck with a bolt of lightning. But that is a myth. Aha moments occur at the end of a process comprised of crossroad moments. Okay, so what are crossroad moments? Crossroad moments are those times in your life or in your career when you are faced with making an important and sometimes an uncomfortable decision. When faced with a decision like this, most people choose to go with the flow and choose the popular and the most crowded road, as you see here in the picture. In other words, most people accept the status quo. However, a few people like Katelyn Gleason, they choose the road less traveled and they challenge the status quo. Also, it is important to note that each crossroad moment builds upon the prior crossroad moment. One way or another, the crossroad moments are all interconnected. So why should you care about the difference between an aha moment and a crossroad moment? Because when you right brain your crossroad moments, you dramatically enhance the value of your aha moment, and you increase the probability of making millions. In Katelyn Gleason's case, she had 5 distinct crossroad moments before she had her $1 million aha moment. These 5 crossroad moments were the key to Katelyn unlocking and discovering her aha moment. Let's review each of Katelyn's 5 crossroad moments. Crossroad moment number 1, the shirt. Katelyn and her siblings were raised in Long Island, New York. And as Katelyn said in a recent article, her family was lower middle class and they struggled financially. But her parents were incredibly rich in love, affection, and encouragement. So much so that they always thought that someday Katelyn could sort of take over the world. And Katelyn fondly remembers one of her dad's favorite sayings. It goes like this: make a wish, but be prepared to work your ass off for that wish. Katelyn took that saying to heart. Katelyn knew that whatever she wanted, she had to earn her own money in order to buy it. For example, at the age of 13, Katelyn wanted a specific shirt that was popular with all of her friends. So Katelyn went out and got a job as a pastry girl in a local restaurant at the age of 13 to earn the money to buy that shirt. But Katelyn did not stop there. At that same restaurant at the age of 16, Katelyn became a waitress. And at 17, Katelyn was running that restaurant. Let's review this crossroad moment. Even at the age of 13, when Katelyn wanted that special shirt, her parents told her that she had to earn the money herself to buy that shirt. What would most people do? They would whine to their parents and complain to their friends that their parents were mean and their parents were so unfair. Not Katelyn. She didn't whine and complain. She went out and got a job to earn the money to buy her own shirt. At the age of 13, Katelyn was unapologetically focused on getting that shirt. Crossroad moment number 2, business directories. Attending Stony Brook University, Katelyn wanted to be an actress. While she was getting straight A's and graduating at the top of her class, Katelyn was going to auditions and getting some acting gigs. But she did not get enough acting gigs to pay her bills. So Katelyn got a job selling business directories. Now this is before LinkedIn became so popular. Katelyn attended sales training and she learned the sales script and how to handle objections. To Katelyn, it was like learning the lines of a new play. No big deal. And like everything that Katelyn did, she gave it her all. Well, to no one's surprise, Katelyn did extremely well in selling business directories. So well, in fact, that at the age of 20, Katelyn was managing a 40-person sales force and making over 6 figures. Let's review this crossroad moment. When faced with a difficult but an important task, you have two choices. What do most people do? They figure out what they need to do in order to succeed and then do a little bit more, and they hope that they're not sorry at the end that they didn't succeed. Not Katelyn. Katelyn gives it her all, and she has no regrets if it is not enough. Katelyn is unapologetically obsessed with doing her best. Crossroad moment number 3, the shattered dream. As a child, Katelyn dreams of performing on stage. At Stony Brook, Katelyn majored in theater and went to as many auditions as she could in her spare time. Again, Katelyn gave it her all. But finally, at the age of 23, Katelyn became so frustrated with the acting profession that she decided to direct her efforts elsewhere. But where? Katelyn still wanted to make a real dent in the world, so she went through what she calls an existential crisis. Katelyn became a voracious reader of biographies about how the Ben Franklins and the Leonardo da Vincis of her generation were being formed. And after much research and much thought, Katelyn decided to pursue technology. But wait a minute, Katelyn was an actress, an artist. She knew nothing about technology, and up until this moment, she really didn't care about technology. But technology it was. So Katelyn, knowing that she was good at sales, decided to find a sales position in a technology company. Listen to her logic. Number 1, she would make money selling because she was good at sales. Number 2, her employer would make a profit on her sales because she was good at sales. And number 3, her employer would teach her about technology. Everybody wins. Let's review this crossroad moment. When you realize that your dream is not what you thought it would be, what would most people do? They would become depressed and think that chasing your dream is only reserved for the privileged few or the very rich. They would decide, you know what, I'll take whatever life gives me and I'll try to make the best of it because that's just the way it is for people like me. Not Katelyn. Katelyn decided to find a new dream that excites her at least as much as her previous shattered dream. Katelyn is unapologetically convinced that she will find her passion. Crossroad moment number 4, the whole new world. So it is now 2010, and Katelyn is looking to join a technology company when she sees an ad on Craigslist for a sales position at a company called Dr. Chrono. Okay, who the heck and what is Dr. Chrono? Well, Dr. Chrono is a startup that is building a product for electronic healthcare records on an iPad. So Katelyn applied, interviewed, and Katelyn became the first employee as a salesperson. And Katelyn joined the founders of Dr. Chrono in Mountain View, California. Well, why was Dr. Chrono in Mountain View, California? Because they were fortunate enough to be invited to develop their product at the prestigious Y Combinator in Silicon Valley. Okay, Frank, what is Y Combinator? Well, Y Combinator is an American seed accelerator. Twice a year, Y Combinator invests $120,000 in getting a large number of startups to work with them, and they have to move to Silicon Valley. Y Combinator works extensively with each startup to improve their product, but then Y Combinator works with each co-founder to refine their pitch to investors, because at the end of each cycle, Y Combinator hosts a demo day in which each startup has just 2.5 minutes to present their company to a select group of potential investors. Getting invited to participate in Y Combinator is a new entrepreneur's dream. Katelyn thought, wow, what a great opportunity. She says, I will become immersed in something called technology. I will become immersed in the healthcare market, and I will learn something about this thing they call HIPAA, whatever the heck that is. But then Katelyn says, I will be introduced to and make valuable contacts with the principals at Y Combinator, doctors, hospitals, and insurance companies. Katelyn was excited about this opportunity. Well, it's a good thing Katelyn was excited because the founders of Y Combinator did not know how to sell, and they were not interested in learning how to sell. They wanted someone like Katelyn to sell for them and make them a ton of money. And in turn, Katelyn would learn a lot about technology and the healthcare business. Well, the founders were so impressed with Katelyn that they asked her to attend as many Y Combinator meetings with them as her schedule would allow. She attended so many that everyone at Y Combinator thought Katelyn was a co-founder of Dr. Chrono. As you will see later, this perception would help Katelyn tremendously. Well, Katelyn immediately fell in love with the excitement and the energy of building a technology product and a technology company. But before she realized it, Katelyn was working over 80 hours per week to help the founders bring their product to market. But it was while Katelyn was working with an oncologist that Katelyn noticed something that caused Katelyn to change her plans. More on this later. Let's review this crossroad moment. While living in her comfortable surroundings of New York City, Katelyn came across a potential opportunity, but this opportunity had 3 requirements. Some would call these obstacles. Number 1, she would have to leave her family and friends and move to California alone. Number 2, she would be entering the technology field, something she wanted to learn, but she knew nothing about. And number 3, she would be entering the healthcare field, again, something she knew nothing about. What would most people do? They would look at these 3 obstacles and they say, no way, this is way too much change in way too short a time. I'll just stay where I am and find something more comfortable and closer to home. But not Katelyn. She looked at these 3 requirements as positives and she jumped at the opportunity because it provided Katelyn with the biggest opportunity to take her life to the next level. Katelyn is unapologetically obsessed with chasing her dream. Crossroad moment number 5, the problem. Katelyn was working with one of the top oncologists in the country, but instead of spending all of his energy on curing his patients of cancer, he was distracted because he had $5 million of receivables tied up because his staff had made mistakes in determining the eligibility and reimbursement requirements for his services. Katelyn thought how sad and how dumb. So Katelyn researched the problem, and she couldn't believe what she learned in her research. Our government had set up a patient eligibility and reimbursement system many, many years ago, and the system had not been updated in years. And since the system was run by the government in D.C., it was close to impossible to change. You had to adapt your practice and billing to the system, or you will not get paid. So before a doctor could perform a procedure, they must determine the patient's eligibility and the insurance reimbursement. So the doctor had to go out and hire a staff of clerks to man phone banks who would manually call each insurance company every time. Many times his staff would be put on hold. When the insurance company came back, they would verbally give the patient and procedure information to the insurance company. They had to write it down. Then they would wait for the insurance company to verify the patient's eligibility and reimbursement amount, and then and only then could they schedule the procedure. It was an administrative nightmare. Katelyn thought this was nuts. She said, with today's technology, there must be a better way. She didn't know yet how to solve this problem, but she had confidence in herself that with a lot of hard work, remember her childhood, Katelyn would solve this problem. So what did Katelyn do? She quit her job at Dr. Chrono to start her own company. Let's review this crossroad moment. Katelyn uncovered a major problem with our government healthcare system that needed to be solved. What would most people do? They would think that, whoa, this problem is way too big for them to tackle. As a matter of fact, if one person can solve it, it would have already been solved by now. So I'll just take the way it is because that's the way it is, and I'll continue doing what I'm doing. Not Katelyn. She thought, This is an opportunity to make a difference. I know it won't be easy, but if I work hard enough, I will solve this problem. Katelyn is unapologetically convinced in her ability to solve this problem. Before we get to Katelyn's aha moment, let's review each of the lessons learned by Katelyn from her 5 crossroad moments. Crossroad moment number 1, the shirt. Katelyn learned that success is earned, not given. Crossroad moment number 2, business directories. Katelyn learned that if it's important, give it your all. Crossroad moment number 3, the shattered dream. Katelyn learned, always have a dream you aspire to. Crossroad moment number 4, a whole new world. Katelyn learned that growth occurs outside of your comfort zone. And crossroad moment number 5, Katelyn learned that solve a problem that they have, but that they don't want. Let's get to Katelyn's aha moment, the solution. So Katelyn started a new company. She had $5,000 in the bank, and since she no longer had a job at Dr. Chrono, she had time, and boy did she have time. Well, everyone told her that since she was starting a technology company, it was mandatory that Katelyn recruit a technical co-founder. So Katelyn had to answer this question for herself. Do I go out and recruit a technical co-founder, or do I do it myself? Well, Katelyn contacted a family friend who was in high school, and this person knew how to code. And then she worked with a 40-year-old father of 4 from Belgium who knew how to code and knew about healthcare. And since Katelyn could not pay them any money, she offered them equity in her new company. Well, neither one could commit to Katelyn's satisfaction. As a matter of fact, as the Rolling Stone said, Katelyn got no satisfaction. So Katelyn decided to do it herself without a technical co-founder. Wow. So Katelyn confined herself to her 1-bedroom Mountain View apartment, and she devoured all the information she could gather on startups, technology, coding, prototypes, and the current process to verify patient eligibility. Day in and day out, Katelyn sat at her kitchen table, obsessed with solving this problem. Katelyn did not see her family or friends for 9 straight months. I told you she was obsessed. But that is when Katelyn had her aha moment. She decided that she would create an iPhone app or an API to verify the patient eligibility. Great. Now Katelyn needed to work with a doctor, a couple of doctors, to help her develop her prototype, a proof of concept. So Katelyn went door to door calling on doctors in the Mountain View area. She was seeking doctors who would pay her for the opportunity to participate in the development of her prototype. Yeah, you heard me right. She was asking doctors to pay her for the opportunity to help her develop her prototype. I told you she could sell. Well, Katelyn found one doctor who agreed to pay Katelyn for the opportunity to participate. And Katelyn called her new company Eligible. And because of her previous work and connection with Y Combinator, Katelyn was personally invited to participate in the demo day and present her new company to potential investors when she was ready. Well, it was now 2 days before Katelyn's scheduled Y Combinator demo day presentation. She had just about run out of money. Her original $5,000 was long gone. And Katelyn had $25,000 in credit card debt. And she still did not have a technical co-founder. So Katelyn sat down with Paul Graham, the head of Y Combinator. And here's what Katelyn told Paul. She said, Paul, I spent the last 9 months creating a working prototype patient eligibility iPhone app/API. She says, I have recruited one doctor who is paying me $5,000 a month to participate in working the prototype. But I do not have a technical co-founder to answer any technical questions. Paul, should I delay my demo day presentation, which is scheduled in 2 days? Paul Graham sat back and thought and then replied very distinctly, Katelyn, you have something that works. It could be ginormous one day. It is in the $3 trillion healthcare market. You have a paying customer. You have a solution on the iPhone. Why the heck would you give up now? That was all the encouragement Katelyn needed. 2 days later, Katelyn gave her demo day presentation at Y Combinator, and it was so well received that she left that day with a check for $150,000 to fund her new company. Here is a video of 24-year-old Katelyn Gleason giving her presentation on demo day in 2012. Enjoy. Let's review this aha moment. Katelyn faced the following insurmountable obstacles when she decided to start her new technology company. Number one, she had no money coming in. Number two, she was creating a technical company with no technical knowledge or no technical co-founder. And number three, she was attempting to disrupt the U.S. healthcare market. What would most people do? They would look at this and say, whoa, this is way too much for me to handle. No way. I'll just move on to something else, not as difficult. Not Katelyn. She knew what she was getting into. She was excited by the challenge, and she couldn't wait to get started and give birth and uncover her aha moment. Katelyn is unapologetically proud of her capabilities. So where is Eligible today? Today, Eligible processes millions of transactions per month. They have 50 employees, and to date, Katelyn has raised $25 million. Not bad for a 13-year-old kid who had to work as a pastry girl to buy a shirt. Well, after reviewing Katelyn's story, I adapted an old saying and came up with this: to live the life you've never lived before, you must do what you've never done before. Katelyn Gleason did what she'd never done before, and that is why Katelyn Gleason makes millions and you don't.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the presentation, her talk.
Yeah.
Did you hear? Did you hear it, Dick?
No, it was very muffled and there's
Yeah.
a lot
Huh. Okay. Well, it was. I
of
could hear it on my
static.
end. Well, there was some static because it wasn't a very good video, but it was the only one I could find of that day. So okay.
Yeah, no, you could hardly hear what she said.
Okay.
But that's the bad news. The good news is I think that you don't have to send me that clip. I think it was good enough to be able to just include where we're at today.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, with the clip, you get to hear her voice.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I'll put it in Dropbox.
The first part of the audio, by the way, was on your camera speaker or pickup mic.
Really?
Yeah, you could tell the difference. But the rest was great.
Oh,
Absolutely great.
Okay.
It's good work. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, Dick, you said that you did an interview or for somebody back there, a video interview?
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Well, they're trying to get for this website he's creating to have HR managers and college students hooked up to where they can go online and get find out about jobs and and this video was just kind of for them to look at, and I talked about a little bit about me and about Legal Shield and stuff of that nature. I could send it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that if he's a startup, maybe he wants to come on our 100th podcast next week.
Yeah, I could talk to him and see if you want to. Sure.
Frank, what do you think of that?
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, we haven't had a guest. Well, for probably 6 weeks we haven't had a guest.
Right.
But,
Yeah, well, I'm meeting him at 2:30 today. He's the guy we're talking about doing our own meetup group. So I'll see him.
cool. Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Let's get a status update where you are, Frank, with your They Make Millions and You Don't book / whatever.
Well, yeah, as you see, I keep on adjusting and trying to find the format that I'm comfortable with. I have all the stories, if you will, some more comprehensive than would in the beginning, because in the beginning I tried to fit everything into one page. Now I'm trying to fit everything. So I just trying to get my format squared away, and I'm ready to go. And it'll be the book. The book will feed into the membership site, which will feed into the book. So it's kind of a catch-22. I really shouldn't launch one without the other because they depend on each other. So that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, you might need a technical guy to do that membership site. Do you have anybody in mind?
Well, again, Katelyn, I'm going to go to my kitchen table and sit there for 9 months and not talk to anybody.
That'll work. I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a real winning strategy to me. All right. Anything else, guys? Dick, you want to say anything on your C block here? Anything?
No, I just what I found interesting, Frank, with your first point was you want something, you got to earn it. I started my sales career when I was about 9 years old. I wanted a bike, and my grandparents said, "Well, you get the money, you can have a bike." So I started clamming and crabbing, went door to door selling them, got enough money and bought my bike. So I related very much to that story.
Dick,
So.
Yeah. Well, you were 9. Caitlin was 13 when she wanted that shirt that her friends had.
Well, Dick beat the hell out of her, didn't he?
Yeah, you did.
That's when I first started selling.
Oh, my God. I think of that story quite often, Dick, about you going out there and clamming. You don't even eat clams, and you probably don't eat crab either, do you?
Well, I used to eat crab sauce, Italian. I used to make really good Italian crab. Red sauce is good, yeah.
Hey, by the way, guess what I'm having for lunch? My only meal today.
What?
Garlic salad.
All right. I haven't had that in a while, but no.
God, I eat it every other day these days. But it's so good,
It's a good thing you live alone.
I absolutely know that to be true.
It's lucky with Peter gave a recipe. Bev loves it too, so we eat it together.
That's the only way you can have it.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm heavier in the garlic than most people would do, but I'm loving it. All right, guys. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Say goodnight, Dick.
All right. Good night, Dick.
And good night, Frank.
Good night, Frank.
All righty.